best realtors are not necessarily the best talkers. And the best thing about using these questions is they're very subtle. There is a gap between these two situations. So the goal is you want to make the prospect feel like they cannot get to their desired situation without your help. And all you have to do is ask. One of the most common misconceptions when it comes to sales is that to be a good realtor, you have to be the best talker. When I first entered the real estate industry, a lot of people said, "Hey Scott, you're good at talking. You should be in sales." And although that's kind of true to a certain extent, after I got into the weeds and actually started in real estate and hosting multiple open houses, I realized that the best realtors are not necessarily the best talkers, but in fact, the best listeners. Because the truth is, nobody wants to hear a realtor talk about how great they are or how great their services are. It's just not relevant to the consumer, and it's kind of annoying in some situations. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip the script. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to become a better listener by learning my 5 most powerful sales questions to ultimately listen, build empathy, and close more deals. Like I was just saying, the best realtors are going to be the best listeners. And to listen, you have to allow the prospect room to talk. And the secret to doing that is you want to ask powerful, intriguing questions. They say if you want amazing answers, you need to ask amazing questions. Now, these aren't just any regular questions that you just throw out there. These are going to be questions that guide the prospect throughout the entire sales process so that you can understand their pain, build empathy, and basically solve their problem. And the best thing about using these questions is they're very subtle. They're very conversational, and you're not going to sound salesy. Actually ask them. So by the end of this video, not only are you going to learn my 5 most powerful questions to guide a sales process, but it's also going to show you how to become a better listener. It's going to show you how to build more empathy and rapport with your prospect. And ultimately, it's going to help you close more deals. And before we go ahead and get started, make sure you give this video a like if you are excited to learn my 5 most powerful sales questions. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be releasing new training videos every week. And if you want notifications, hit that bell. So let's dive into question number 1. When you are in any type of sales scenario where you're going to meet with a prospect in person or over the phone, and sometimes you start off the conversation with small talk and you say something like, "Hey John, how's it going?" And John says, "Oh, I'm doing well, blah, 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 blah." And you talk about the weather or whatever the case is. Now, where things become a little awkward is that sometimes you want to go ahead and start the meeting. You're afraid to get it started, or you don't want to sound too pushy or as a salesperson. So what do you do to actually start the sales meeting in a nice conversational way? And to solve this, this is where question number 1 comes into play. So when you're standing face to face or when you're talking over the phone with the prospect, if you want to start the meeting, this is all you have to say. "Hey John, I want to be respectful of your time. So do you mind if we go ahead and get started?" And John or whoever you're speaking with will obviously say, "Sure, let's go and get started." It's as simple as that. And why this question is going to be incredibly powerful, even though it seems so simple, is that you basically control the frame of the entire conversation, and it's going the way you want. You want to talk about exactly what you want to talk about in the meeting. And this is the way to get the other person to agree to the direction that you want to take them. And best of all, you're getting down to business without sounding salesy. Not only that, but you're also building micro commitments. You're asking a question, the prospect answers, "Sure, why not? Let's go ahead and get started." And then you move on to more and more questions. And the more the prospect is able and willing to answer your questions, the more depth you can have as the conversation continues. So let's go ahead and get into question number 2. So once you get the meeting started, what you want to do is you want to ask another question to figure out exactly why they agreed to this meeting in the first place. A simple thing you can say is, "Hey John, I'm just curious. What got you interested in taking my call today? What got you interested in meeting with me today?" Whether it's a call or a meeting, you want to just change the words depending on the situation. But same thing, what got you interested in taking my call today? This is going to be an extremely powerful question because not only is it an open-end question where the other person can basically say anything, but you get down to the reason for why someone is even investing their time to speak with you. The reason why you want to do this is because you're trying to identify a problem that the prospect, the person you're trying to help, has, and align your solution to those problems so that when it's time to ask for the sale, it's very clear that the services you provide is something the prospect actually needs. If you don't know why the prospect is in the meeting with you or is speaking with you, then it's very difficult to sell them anything because people don't like to be sold, but they love to buy. And if you don't understand why they want to buy, then you're not going to be able to offer your services. And the main thing you're really looking for when you ask the question, what got you interested in my call today? What you're really looking for is the pain point. You're looking for one major pain point that really sticks out for the prospect. And if you're able to solve this, they're going to hire you for your services. So when I ask, hey, John, what got you interested in taking my call today? John might say, well, we're thinking about purchasing our first home. We've been looking for 6 months and we put in a few offers, but no luck. So I just wanted to pick your brain and learn a little bit about what you do. Sometimes it's literally as easy as that, where people have a clear problem and they just tell you up front and they don't want to waste anyone's time. If they give you a little hint of a problem like, oh, we were working with my mom's realtor and it just wasn't working out. As an example, what you want to do there is you want to take the hint of pain. Whether it's strong or not strong, it doesn't matter, but you find that pain and you want to dive deeper. And so asking question number 2, which is what got you interested in taking this call today, basically scratches the surface. Once you get that hint, then you dive deep. So once the prospect does give you some pains, all you have to do is ask more questions like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Another question you can ask is, oh, that's interesting, John. How long have you been looking? How long has this problem been? Basic surface level questions that you can ask to dive deep into the prospect's pain. Feels like you're actually listening. The key to it is to listen, is that they're going to keep talking about their problem all day long, and you're going to write these things down, and you're going to get ready to help them with the services you provide to solve their problem. All right, so moving forward, we're gonna go into question number 3. Now, during the entire sales process, you're asking questions, you're understanding the prospect's problem. But this is the point where you need to clarify if you want to offer your services to somebody. So you have to think of it like this. You have point A and point B. Point A is someone's current situation where they are currently at. And point B is their desired situation where they want to go. So if you're selling coaching services for helping people lose weight, someone might be overweight and that's their current situation. And the desired situation is they want to lose weight and be healthy. And all you're really doing is saying, hey, where are you currently at right now? And where would you like to go? Overweight, not overweight. Making a little bit of money, making a lot of money, right? All you're doing is getting them from point A to point B. So a question that you can use to start this conversation during the listing presentation or buyer's consultation is this. Hey, John, can you give me a sense of where you're currently at and what you would like to do? What are your real estate goals? Can you tell me a little bit more about what's prompting this conversation? Obviously, there's going to be more context to it when you're in the consultation, but that's essentially it. Where are you currently at and where do you want to go? And no matter what you're selling or the services you're providing or whatever industry you're in, there's always this motion. People are currently at a certain spot in their life, whether it's their health, their business, their finances, their relationships, and they always want to improve in some way. And if your services can help them get from point A to point B, then it's going to be so much easier to hire you for what they want to accomplish. Because the value is clear. If they buy what you're selling, they will get from point A to point B, and it's very clear exactly how you would do that and how your services can essentially help them get to where they want. And the key is you really just want to clarify the difference between point A and point B. and make sure that both you and the client understand that there is a gap between these two situations. And during the consultation, later towards the end, once you show them that you can actually help them bridge that gap, their desired situation, it's going to be so obvious for them to use your services because everything is crystal clear. You can help them get what they want. And if you're charging something that's fair for the value you're providing, then it's going to be an easy sale. If you can clearly define from point A and point B and show them how you can help them cross that bridge, moving forward, we're going to go into question number 4. So like I said before, you have this point A and point B current situation, desired situation, but it's not enough just to show them that you can get them across the bridge. Not only that, but you have to identify anything that's already stopping them, what's holding them back. Because if your services help them bridge the gap, they think in their heads, why wouldn't I hire this person? They're going to hire you. So the goal is you want to make the prospect feel like they cannot get to their desired situation without your help. And all you have to do is ask, what's stopping you from reaching your goals right now? What's stopping you from reaching your goals on your own? All we're doing is we're just taking point A and point B and we're widening the distance as far as possible. We're making the prospect feel like they can't get to their desired situation on their own. And on top of that, we're stacking in these challenges and trying to understand why the prospect cannot do it. Not only are we widening the distance, but we're also putting in these blockers, which the prospect is already experiencing and making them aware that it's difficult to do without our help. So once a prospect feels like, I want to reach my goals, but I can't do it because X, Y, and Z, they start making all the excuses to why they can't do it with somebody else or on their own. Now we're getting ready to actually show them how we can help them get to where they want to go. And this actually leads us into question number 5. So if you want to start offering your services, what you want to do is you first want to ask permission. Once you ask permission, people are more likely to listen to whatever it is that you have to say. All you have to do is ask the simple question, what were you hoping I could do to help? Now, it seems like a very simple question, and you're right. It is a very simple question. What were you hoping I could do to help? Now, at this point, because the prospect has a very clear idea of where they're currently at, and they have an idea of where they want to go, but they know that it's difficult to get to their desired situation without some kind of help. They failed to do it in the past. Now, what's naturally going to happen is the prospect is now going to ask you for help, and they're going to say, well, what can you do to help me get to where I want to go? How can you help me get into this home? And once they ask that question, then you have earned permission to actually offer your services. And once you do your pitch, then they're going to be more likely to listen and seriously consider whether or not they should hire you. So instead of you hard selling, the prospect is literally asking you for help, and you completely reverse the situation. And this is really only possible because you ask so many questions throughout the sales process. You framed and controlled the entire narrative until you got to this point where you asked the question, what were you hoping I could do to help? And at this point, once the prospect does ask that question, you go in and offer your services. And I actually have a whole separate video on what that sounds like in a buyer consultation or a listing presentation in the comments below. But to summarize it for this video, those are essentially my top 5 questions when it comes to learning how to listen to your customers, understand what they want, and basically prep them for the moment where you can actually offer your services. And that's really it, guys. All you have to do is ask those 5 powerful questions throughout your buyer presentation or your listing consultation. It's going to help you dramatically increase your conversions, and it's going to help you become a better listener so that you can become a better realtor. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you can see how you can apply it to your everyday life, go ahead and give this video a like, because every like does help this video reach new audiences. And if you want to see new training videos every week, go ahead and hit that subscribe and notification bell. And in the comment section, go ahead and leave your #1 sales challenge, because I'm always curious to know what kind of challenges you guys are facing in this industry so that I can make new content to help address those concerns. So with that said, thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you guys on the next video. Mindset first, market share will follow.